You mentioned Dominguez in center, and you and I fundamentally disagree on this, and I saw you just do something recently on your show as well. I think Dominguez should be in the minors. Not that I don't think he's a big league player.
Yep.
I'm trying to have them, for once, for goodness sake, properly develop these guys. You mentioned it. It's the same thing every year. Volpe, Wells, Dominguez. They're sending Dominguez down the same path that they did with Volpe. Meanwhile,
Yep.
they should be learning from that. Volpe should have been sent down to the minors after he got the job and was struggling a little bit. Send him down. It's not saying you can't make it. It's trying to develop him properly. Now, what are you going to do? Have him be a fourth outfielder on this team? There's no room for him to fully play and fully develop. I think Boone wants him on the roster. I know you're saying you think he's going to end up in the minors. I think they want him on the roster because they think he's useful, which he can be. But now you're developing a fourth outfielder instead of the stud that he was supposed to be.
I'm surprised that one of those players, Jones or obviously Jason Dominguez, has not been dealt yet. That surprises me. I don't have any faith that Jones will ever make it. I just don't. He just strikes out way too much. I don't think Dominguez is going to make the team, and it's going to really piss me off. Think about this, Sal, and I'm not saying he's a star, and I understand the thought, hey, there's something to be said for, getting, let's say, 28-ish at bats a week versus 7, 28 in the minors, 7 in the bigs. All right, you want to get him more bats on the right side. You want to get him in center field, get him defensive reps. Yeah, and we know. But to me, think about the runway they've given Anthony Volpe, who hits 212 and gets on base 28% of the time. And I know that Dominguez's power is not quite what I thought that it would be, but I do think it's going to he's still young, and I still think it's there. Stole 20 bases, hit almost 260, and was on base 34% of the time. And he's going to get sent down. But the shortstop, and I'm rooting, I love my local stories, and I love me some Volpe, but I got to call it the way it is. He's been awful, so he's been a disappointment. They keep running him out there. Like, if he wasn't hurt, he'd be the opening day shortstop. And it just doesn't seem congruent. Like, why are they giving him more run and basically giving Dominguez no chance to get any traction? I don't get it.
But don't you think it's better for his development with the way that they're currently structured? I'm not saying that they should have brought back, clearly they weren't factoring in Dominguez when they decided to offer Grisham the qualifying offer. They wanted Grisham back. Okay.
Right.
But don't you think it's better for his development if he gets to play every day in the minors and then can come up, hit the ground running, and be the stud that we expect him to be?
You know what? I see both sides. I truly do. I know what you mean. It's an old adage, better get some reps, play every day. The problem is, it's funny. Boone called me last night. I was talking to Aaron for a while, right? I was going to the grocery store, phone rings, Booney, pick him up. I wanted to pull over to the side of the road. I barely got to the grocery store before it closed. So I was able to I had to get what I had to get. But we had a good chat, right? And we were talking about Dominguez and some other players, right? And, the one thing that I said to him, and he agrees, when we were growing up, Sal, when we were young, AAA was legitimate. Like, that's where the guys who were on the cusp, that's where the veterans who weren't quite, pitching or playing well enough were sent down to get their act together. AAA stinks. Really, AA now has become the launch pad because the players that are getting called up are younger and younger and younger because they're so much more refined. So he's going to be in AAA. The pitching's going to be weak. He's going to destroy the baseball. He's going to do very well. I can promise you he'll do well. He'll look really good. And then what does it mean? Like, are you waiting for somebody to get hurt? Because if he's not and I don't think he's making the team. If he's not in the plans on opening day, if nobody gets hurt, what would change? Nothing. So you're going to waste a year.
Right, which is why I hate the structure. Yes. And by the way, I would send him down to the minors. I would have done it a year ago to let him develop properly. But if you are going to keep him up here, he needs to play. He needs to play. You can't develop another DH that can't play the outfield.
I know.
That defeats the purpose as well. So what are we doing? Pick a spot, put him in left field, and let him play every day. And clearly they're not going to do that.
Well, they can't, listen, the one thing I will say about Grisham, and I didn't want him back. I didn't think he was going to take the 22 QO. I thought somebody would give him 3 years, 60, 3 years, 50, whatever it might be, and give him a chance to really bank some generational wealth, whatever. And that didn't really, I was surprised he took it. You know that. But let's be fair to the situation. And I know his defense took a little step back, and I don't like him against lefties, and he's not a leadoff hitter, and I don't trust him against high leverage pitching late. But if he is to replicate his season from a year ago and hit, even if he doesn't hit 34, let's say he hits 30 home runs and has an 800 OPS, Last year, I think it was 820, right? And hits 240, 245. I mean, 22, think about it. 22 million's a steal at that point.
Yeah.
So I kind of processed the retention of him a little differently. Not that I was unfair to him. I think I was just thinking bigger because I know he's going to hit leadoff certainly against righties, and I don't want him to. And when he's here, they're going to write him in a lineup at the first spot against right-handed hitters. So I was almost like, if you get rid of them, they don't have that option. And maybe they could try something different because different could be better. He's a good player. He's fine, but he's blocking the path to somebody who could be a much better night-to-night five-tool, maybe, contributor. And as long as he's here, and as long as Belly's healthy, and knock on wood, Judge, and obviously everybody, he's not going to play. He's just not going to play.
You know what that sounds like to me? Your take
What?
on Grisham there?
What?
Sounds like Booney got to you. Hey, me, Sal here. Weird interrupting my own podcast, but I'm going to do it because it's a very special reason. We have Mets-Yankees Subway Series tickets to give away, courtesy of Sachdev Family Orthodontics in Rockland. Right now, we have 2 tickets, 1 pair of tickets, Mets-Yanks field-level tickets. It's the first Subway Series matchup of 2026 out at Citi Field. We'll be giving them away once we get to 10,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. We're at about 6 right now as we record this. So we're getting there. Ways to go. Games in May. If we don't get there, I guess just Badabooms and I will go. But anyway, a pair of tickets, Mets-Yankees Subway Series, Friday night, Citi Field, first game of the year between the Mets and the Yankees for 2026. We have a pair to give away once we get to the 10,000 subscribers. Okay, now you can go back to listening. Enjoy the rest of the show. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to check us out.
No, stop. You don't want to laugh, dude. You know what's funny?
He loves Grisham. He yelled at me for that.
This guy. We're doing the live show, and the first 3 minutes of these guys are going. I'm looking like a tennis match. I'm like Sal Booney, Sal Booney, Sal Booney.
But he said when he called me before that, he said I told BT the same thing, or he said he heard you say the same thing, and he was talking to you about it as well. Yep. That he was getting on both of us for saying you need a real leadoff hitter. Grisham ain't it, and I know he's defending Grisham, so that's why I was talking about this.
Full transparency. I don't even think that Trent Grisham's name came up. I don't even think it came up. I talked about Garrett Cole, and obviously I'll keep things here. Yeah. But listen, Booney's the best. We absolutely love him. But it doesn't mean I agree with everything he says. Like, he can call me every day and say Grisham's a great leadoff hitter, and I'll say no, he's not. I mean, it's just not. I mean, Booney forgot more baseball than my entire family tree knows baseball. But I'm going to stick with certain things that I believe and that I believe in. I've been watching baseball a long time. I don't want him batting in front of Aaron Judge in the playoffs. I don't care what Aaron Boone says. I don't want that, Sal.
All right, one more quick one before we get to the super chat here. Maybe we do that for the final 15 minutes or so. We're almost get about 20 minutes left, roughly.
I got you.
I saw you talk about Bryce Harper and saying the Yankees should get him, even if it's not realistic, whatever. Where would you put him? Because you're not going to move on from Ben Rice. Everybody loves Rice. I mean, Boone says he's going to have a higher... Boone told us when we were doing the meet and greet afterwards, it was like off the air. He said that he believes Rice will have a higher OPS than Alonso this year, just to give you like a barometer of where their expectations are at for Ben Rice. And I love Ben Rice. That was one of those things we were fighting with him last year. Get him in the lineup. I don't care about the lefties. Then he's in the lineup against the lefties and he looks silly. And I'm like, my bad, coach.
I remember that. I remember we were writing out the lineups the day of the Yankee playoff games, what we would do. And then they did what we wanted them to do, and then you crushed them.
Anyway, where would you put Bryce? Because he's not playing anywhere except for first base, and you got Ben Rice there.
What I said today was it's not a report, but something came out yesterday. It's not a report, but it was one person's opinion, who's in the business, one person's opinion, like Ben Rice, Dominguez, and Cam Schlittler. Are you out of your mind? There's no way I would do that trade.
For Bryce Harper?
Yeah. I mean, that was ludicrousville. I'm not doing that. What I would do is I would offer, now I don't know if Philly would do this, but at least I have a rationale and a reasoning and a path to maybe make this work, because there is a positional limit if you were to get Bryce. I get that. I would say, all right, do you want whoever you like better? Do you like Will Warren better? Do you like Clark Schmidt better? What young pitcher do you like better? Take him, and then take, obviously, Dominguez, or if you like Spencer Jones better, take him, and then take Austin Wells. And I know you'll push back on this. Right. No, I'll make Ben Rice my full-time catcher. And Escar could play once a week against lefties, and maybe twice, get Rice off his, from crouching And, you can maybe DH him here and there, whatever, when Stanton gets hurt, which he will. Like, there's a way to manipulate it. And then all of a sudden, if now, again, it's not going to happen, but I was imploring the Yankees to make it happen, to be bold. To me, Sal, when you are a prideful, proud player like Bryce Harper, when your general manager, even though he was being honest, what Dombrowski said, that bothers Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
You know it. Imagine Spike or Hurley saying, well, Sal's good on the air, but I don't know if he's elite. Be like, what? I know I'd say that. I know you would too.
Well, I mean, they basically did say that. I mean,
and they were wrong. So yeah. Anyway,
now it's my singular mission to make sure we prove them wrong. I get that they could have, by the way, proactively maybe trade Stanton. So I like that thought process. Plus, Bryce, his father, Mickey Mantle fan.
Of course,
I think he'd be a perfect Yankee. But the way that they're structured now, they would take a lot.
Well, it would, but I just gave you a solution. Trade Wells. If they wanted Wells, it works.
Yeah.
If they don't, then it doesn't work, right? And let Ben Rice catch, let Ascar catch a little bit. And I would even consider at that point, how about something like this? I'll let Ben Rice lead off as a high on base guy, number one, unconventional, but Schwarber's led off. You could do it. Ben Rice 1, Aaron Judge 2, Bryce Harper 3. Or, obviously, Belly's got to factor in there as well. Think about trying to navigate the high on base, high barrel rate, high power threshold. That is going to be a very tough top 3. And then if Stanton's healthy, you throw the righty in there. That's going to be very tough to navigate. It won't happen. But to me, there's an opening because I know that Bryce Harper's pissed off. And to me, it's incumbent upon the Yankees to call them and to give them something to think about. Will they do it? I don't think that they will. I'm telling you what I would do.
Yeah, I'd love to see any kind of significant change. I'd love to see it. I think it would be great drama, great theater to have Bryce Harper in a Yankee uniform. Plus, he's just a gamer in the postseason, which is something that they need. So I'd love to see it, but I don't think it's realistic at this point. Plus, like I said, they love Ben Rice. They'd have to move Stanton, not just Wells. You'd have to move Stanton. I'd rather keep Wells if they believe in him. Move Stanton, and then you can have Rice DH, catch a little bit, maybe play a little first. Have
Me too.
Bryce DH. There's many ways to do that, but I think Stanton, again, is a roadblock.